John Wallace here with Wild Game Cook in Remington to bring you some tips for better tasting wild game. Tip number one is draining the fluid away from your meat. So if you vac seal your meat like I do, when you thaw it out, it's surrounded with blood and water and stuff from the meat. So what we do is we take it out and we put it over top of paper towels and we put it in the fridge. This is gonna leave you with still a nice moist piece of meat, but something that is now gonna sear easier, because if it's too much moisture in there, it'll just steam and turn gray. We're now able to season it and either sear it, smoke it, whatever you'd like. And it's gonna taste a lot better having drained all of that away from it. All right, tip number two for better tasting wild game, and something a little bit different, is instead of having your venison processed, or if you do it yourself, instead of putting it into butterflied steaks, to leave it whole in what we call logs of venison. So this is about 8 to 10 inches. You can make them a little smaller depending on if you're living at home by yourself, but leave them whole. It makes the recipes much more versatile on what you can do with it. Go for the option of leaving the back straps into larger logs and diversify your options in the wild game cooking playbook. What we have today is venison in our cylindrical bag, and what we want to do is drain the fluid from this meat so that it leaves us with a better tasting meat, better meat for holding together for burgers, better for searing. And so the way the process works, you take a good old plastic cup. You've probably got dozens of them in your cabinets if you're like us. You're gonna fill it with cold water and simply just plop your venison in. Once it's thawed out just enough to cut the bottom of the bag, we're gonna drain the water, cut the bottom of the bag, place our paper towel, and fold it into a nice dense square. And we're simply just gonna take this and let gravity do the work. And you can either set it on the counter for a couple hours if you're gonna be cooking soon, or if you did this in the morning, it'll totally be waiting on you in the fridge when you come home from work. So we have a metal detector, and we have a couple of Canada goose breaths. Waterfowl using non-toxic shot. Oftentimes, it's very hard, whether it's steel, tungsten, whatever, could do damage to your dental work. So made it a small investment into one of these little pinpoint metal detectors. It's not foolproof, but it does in fact give you a general idea if there could be shot inside your breast. So we've got this on the high intensity. We have a BB here, and you can see that it recognizes it. So one thing you need to be careful of, this is not a foolproof method. This is waterproof, so you can put it on top of your meat. It does give different readings with the different type of metals that you're using in your shotgun. So bismuth read differently than steel, but something to consider having in your arsenal when you're home processing. Check them out and give it a shot.